guys, it's Summer and I'm going to be talking all about my brushes today. My brush collection and how to use some of the brushes that I have. So I'm just putting a disclaimer out there, I'm not an expert on this. I try out brushes just as much as any other person, and I'm just telling you my opinion and what brushes that I own and how I use them. Some brushes are meant for blush and I use them as contour or highlight. It doesn't matter how you use a brush and what it's called specifically. It's just your preference on how it's used and how it applies the product. First, I'll start off by showing you what I hold my brushes in. So these are all my face brushes. So anything I use for foundation, blush, contour, concealer. I don't really use a brush for concealer, but anything that's for my face, not just my eye or my lips or whatever. And this container was like $5 at the container store, and eventually I'm gonna put something so that the brushes can stand up straight instead of just going all over the place like this, as it's still a little unorganized for me. But it's really convenient. You can see where everything is if there's something small in there, like my eyeshadow brushes. You can see that I have my eyebrow scissors down here, and then sometimes my tweezers get lost in there, so it's just easy to see things in this clear container. So let's start with the face brushes. The applicator I use the most for foundation is my Real Techniques sponge. You can get a beauty blender, or you can get this Real Techniques complexion sponge, or there's many different arrays of sponges out there, but this one is comparable to the Beauty Blender. The Beauty Blender is $20, this is $6.99. So I prefer this just because it's cheaper and it works just as well. So I like to use this for my foundations that are more liquid. This is the only thing I use for concealer. I haven't found a brush yet that works really great with concealer, and this just helps the concealer to stay longer and just get it into the areas that I really want to get it into. It also just helps to pack on the most product for a concealer, where a brush is going to be streaky. This is going to be a smoother application. Next brush is my favorite foundation brush when I'm not using the sponge. This I'll use for thicker formulas of foundation. It's a flat top brush, which is easier to put on foundation. It's going to pack it on better and just give a smoother application than something that's spread out more, because this is so dense it gives a smoother application and it doesn't hold your product like other longer brushes and thinner brushes. I'm not sure if this is natural or synthetic bristles. I think it's natural just because it does suck in some of my product. That's the difference between natural and synthetic. Natural is gonna suck in some of the product and not put as much, make a sheer application on your face, and then synthetic is going to not hold as much of the product and it's going to put more on your face, so it's going to be a heavier application. This brush was a part of the 2014 brush collection for holiday. That year was gold, and then this past year, 2015, was a rose gold. I'm not sure if they carry this in the regular collections, but if you just find a complexion perfector or any flat top brush that's really dense and heavy, it should work just as well as this one. This is the Real Techniques stippling brush. As you can see, it's has longer bristles. It is duo fiber, so the top has less bristles than the bottom. This one is synthetic fiber, so it puts more product onto your face. I like to use this one for more tinted moisturizers, BB cream, CC cream kind of formulations, just because it doesn't do well with a regular foundation. It makes it streaky, where with a moisturizer or a CC cream, those tend to be thicker formulations, so it just goes on easier with this kind of brush. This is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. This is more dense and it's duo fiber again. It is stained from my NARS foundation. That's why I don't use my NARS foundation with a different brush, because I just use it with my sponge so it doesn't stain anything else. This one is what I use when I'm just trying out a new foundation. It's just an easy brush to go to. It works with every foundation that I've tried. It does streak some of them, but then you can just smooth it out with the sponge. And yeah, this is just one that is easy, it's cheap, and you can use it with any foundation that you want. That's it for my foundation brushes. Like I said before, I use the sponge for my concealer, so I don't have any brushes specifically for concealer. So we'll move on to powder and contour. This is my go-to powder brush. It's a Crown Brushes Pro Powder Brush. It's dense, so it picks up a little bit more product, which is good if you like to really be matte. It's just an everyday powder brush. You can use it for powder foundation and to set your whole face. I use it to set my whole face since I don't really use powder foundation all too often. Next brush is the Real Techniques number 100, and this is also a powder brush, and this is tapered, so that means it's shorter bristles on the outside, and then as you go it gets longer in the middle. This is a less dense brush than the one before, so it gives more of a sheer powder foundation look, or just a lighter amount of translucent powder when you're setting your face, so you won't look as matte with this one as you will with a denser powder brush. Next brush is my Bare Essentials Flawless Face Brush. This is not dense at all. This is really lightweight. It's usually used for a powder foundation, for Bare Minerals powder foundation, but I use it as my bronzer brush, and I go in the 3 motion on the side when I'm just doing bronzer, and down the nose, and under, like right under your bottom lip right there. I just do that for bronzer, and I'm done with this. Next brush is the contour brush from Real Techniques, and this is number 301. It's flat as can be, and it's flat on top also, and that's really good for a precise line right there. That's what I use it for, just to get in there. And then I'll also use it to bake underneath with a translucent powder, just underneath, to get a more precise line. I like the thicker brush because usually contour brushes are way thinner than this, more like this one, which I don't like at all. As you can see, it's a little bit thinner. And I just like the thicker one just because it gives a more natural, I mean, contouring is not natural, but it gives it a more natural line, other than when you're using thinner brushes, it's just like just a line, one thick line right there, and that's no good. No good when you want to have a natural bronze, natural. Now this is what I mean when I use a brush that's meant for something and I use it for something else. This is the Real Techniques tapered blush brush, and it's number 300, but I like to use it for my highlight because I feel like it's a perfect size and it packs it on there, because I love a lot of highlight, and it's just, I love it. And it's tapered so that you can get like that pointy little point right there. You can get right on the edge of your nose, right down the middle, and it's perfect for that. It's tapered so you can have you can do a light highlight like this, you can have it packed on the side like this, and you can go down the middle of your nose, and it's just a really great brush for highlight. I never used it for blush, and honestly I don't think it would be a good blush brush just because it is tapered. I feel like that would make it look patchy. So highlight it is for this one. My next brush is in the Sephora collection, also from 2014. And this is a natural flush blush brush. Try and say that 5 times fast. It's just really good for a sheer blush. I like a little bit more blush because I don't have a natural flush on my skin. Some people have naturally pink or red cheeks, and then when they put foundation over it, it just looks like a natural blush. But I don't have that, so this is really good for an everyday, like just to put a little bit of blush on there. It just doesn't get as much product on there, so it's good if you have a really pigmented blush, then you'll just stick it in there once and put it on, and it'll be perfect. Because I have really pigmented blushes, like my Morphe blushes, and one time I put a little too much on this brush. Yeah, I look like a clown. Had to really blend that one out. So thank you for watching my brush collection video. I just wanted to give some guidelines to find your own brushes for your own brush collection, and I hope you found something valuable. And yeah, thumbs up and subscribe down below. I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Techniques expert. Anything else I can say about this brush? It's thicker. Ooh.